Hello, my name is Michael Lambert. I was going to talk today about our Home Secretary, Priti Patel. I've got a great deal to say about her, but something else has happened and I want to talk about something else today. I will talk about Patel in a later video, perhaps in a few days' time. Instead today I want to talk about something which has cropped up in the last few days, which I think illustrates perfectly the utter incompetence and ineptitude of this government, and in particular of all this test and trace. A friend of mine sent me a couple of video clips. I'll show you them at the end of this video, both of which are very interesting, but which show just how inept the test and trace system is. This is a test and trace system run by the wife of a Member of Parliament, a Tory Member of Parliament, with a budget of 37 million. That's the cost of approximately 12 aircraft carriers. That's how much money she's got. What she's come up with is something which I would have thought a handful of sixth form IT students could have come up with. But of course they haven't been able to do what they wouldn't have been able to do what she's been able to do, which is to hire thousands of consultants on between £1,000 and £6,750 a day. And this perhaps is an example of what happens when you spend all that money on consultants who really probably don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, my friend was fortunate enough to get a couple of tickets for the Euro finals last week. And one of the conditions of entry to the Wembley Stadium was that you had to be able to show evidence of a negative test within the past 48 hours. So he went to the website, the government website, ordered some of these tests, these little lateral flow test things, and they arrived, and he tested himself. He was negative. On each of these little plastic trays that you use to test, there's a number, and that's what you really need. You have to put that on the website. You enter and your account enter and so on. You put this code number on, the code number of the lateral flow tray, and then you are asked, are you positive or are you negative? Now, if you're positive, you ain't going to the football match. If on the other hand you're negative, that's fine. It will be shown, and it'll be shown on your phone that you've passed negative. And this means that anybody really can just lie, can just say they're negative if it suits them. Same way things are positive if it suits them. The choice is theirs. No way checking. Doesn't appear to be any penalty if you choose the wrong option. But anyway, watch this little clip and it'll show you.
So, I have a ticket to the Euros final, and according to the website, if you look here, you need to have proof of a negative lateral flow. This is on the UEFA website. Proof of a negative lateral flow test on the NHS COVID Pass or NHS app, or a text message or email, and that's the only way that I can be let into the stadium to watch the game. I want to show you how ridiculous this entire thing is. So, I'm going to go to my NHS COVID thing and enter the results. This is my lateral flow test kit, my test at home kit. Here's all this. I've already done a test, and it is negative, by the way. I've had both my jabs, so don't worry about that. I just want to show you how ridiculous this entire system is. So, I'll go to my COVID app and report my tests online. Start now. I am reporting for myself. Continue. I already have an account. I'm just going to move my screen away for 1 second because obviously... Do you take this test for your job? No. Continue. Why you took the test? Another reason. Why you took the test? Continued. Another reason, not listed. And when was the test taken? Test was taken today. Continue. What's the test strip number? So I just opened this one, but I'm going to show you again. I'm going to do it properly. Let me just get my tests. So this one here is a completely sealed. Open up in front of you. Yeah, here it is. It's my test number up here, and I'm going to enter it in. So, what's my name? So I'm just putting in my address. Do I know my NHS number? I do. Okay, so checked all the answers. This is all my things. So I'm going to press continue. Tell us the result. And here's the result. I've just opened it. I haven't done it. Nothing. It's completely brand new. Tell us my result. Negative. Because if I don't put negative, I cannot go to Wembley to watch the Euro final. If it's positive, I can't go to watch Euro final. But if it's negative, I can. 48 hours before, you reported a negative thing, and that's it. I can now go and...
So what that shows is that if, for example, use the example of the Euro finals, supposing you're somebody and you've spent a few £100s on a ticket, you arranged to go with all your friends to Wembley. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There was a possibility of England winning. And all you have to do is say you're negative, even if you're positive. Supposing in those circumstances you find, you do the test, you find you're positive. You ain't going to put down positive, are you? You put down negative. And you'll say to yourself, well, it's just... I'll be out the fresh air, and I'm probably going to be all right anyway. Maybe the test wasn't right. You'll find an excuse. You'll convince yourself that's absolutely fine, unless you're completely dishonest, in which case you're just going to put negative, and that's it. And how many of those people, those 60,000 at Wembley, had put negative when they were positive? Nobody knows. Now, in the next video, you'll see how easy it is to get 10 days off work, 10 days paid work, nice weather, good time of the year to have 10 days off, and your partner, whoever you live with, can have 10 days off as well. All you have to do is go on the government website, the coronavirus bit, and say you've got a cough. Immediately you get as you'll see in a moment, you get a message telling you to isolate for 10 days. That's it. Nobody's going to check. No way of checking.
So I'd like to continue my video showing how utterly pathetic the NHS COVID app actually is. So just for your reference here, I just want to show you that. That is actually my test result. I should probably cover it. That's my test result. I am negative. But I'm just showing this to show how utterly pathetic the app is. I have a bit of a cold, so I want to check my symptoms on the NHS app. I've got a bit of a cough from my cold. I don't have a temperature. No change in sense of smell, taste, but I've got a bit of a cough. This come today, and that started today on the 15th. Okay, so I'm going to submit that. I now have to isolate for 10 days. I might have corona. But like I said, I definitely don't. I've shown results like that. But my app's saying here that I might have coronavirus and I need to self-isolate for 10 days. That doesn't really work for me. I don't want to actually quarantine for 10 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my settings. I'm going to delete all my data, because otherwise every day the government's going to send me a message telling me, checking on me, seeing if I'm self-isolating, monitoring my phone. But I don't want to do that, because that's boring. That's just not what I want to do. So I'm just going to delete all my data and reset the app. Delete it, continue. So now I'm going to log in again. I am over 16. I agree. I'm going to put my postcode is SE10, don't worry. That's the start of my postcode. It's Greenwich. I'm going to confirm it. Contract tracing, yep, continue. I don't have to isolate anymore. That kind of works for me. I don't really want to isolate, so now I don't have to do it anymore. Now the government isn't going to monitor me, they're not going to send me any messages, nothing. So now I'm good to go.
In the last week, apparently, 500,000 pings have been sent out to different people. How many of those were genuine? How many were mistakes? How many were people faking it? Yeah, when people realise how easy it is to get 10 days off, 10 days paid holiday, all you've got to do is go on the website and say you've got a cough. Everybody's going to do it. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. Now, if they sent out 500,000 pings last week, if you assume that many of those were the same person being pinged day after day, supposing they're all people being the same group of people being pinged every day, that's at least 70,000 a day. Each one of those is going to be told to isolate for 10 days. 70,000 times 10 is 700,000 lost days. And they wonder why we're struggling, why the economy's struggling. They're wondering why so many businesses, apart from, of course, all the problems with Brexit, which we won't go into now, the shortage of labour and so on, the fact that if you've got a cough, you get 10 days off. This is really, it's really sad. I mean, upon top of everything else, that we can be living in a country with a government that is so inept. £37,000 million. And all you have to do, go on the website. If you want to be positive, you say positive. You want to be negative, say negative. You don't have to do anything more. You need to get the little test thing first, so you get the number. Then after that, if you want to have 10 days off, you just go on the website and say, I've got a cough. I mean, it's pathetic, isn't it? As I said previously, I believe that we probably spent on test and trace more than every other country in the world combined. I'm not sure that's true, but I wouldn't mind betting it. You see, this is what happens when you have a massive, this is one of the biggest, most expensive projects ever. More than twice the cost of Crossrail. And you give it to the wife of a Tory MP. And say, yeah, have a stab at that. And what does she do? She goes off and she hires thousands. At one point she had 1,500 consultants on £1,000 a day. Some, in fact, earning more than £1,000 a day. One was earning £6,700 a day. Millions and millions of pounds every day for consultants concerning a taste of trace, which, as you can see, is an absolute fiasco. And yet the government's very popular, way ahead in the polls. A lot of people think Johnson's absolutely marvellous. Brexit's going wonderfully. We did well with the vaccines, didn't we? We don't care quite so much about that now. What I'm finding in comments on some of these videos nowadays is that it's gone from abuse to saying things like, if it's about Brexit, they'll say, no matter how bad things get, they'll say it would have been worse if we'd stayed in the EU. And about COVID, they'd say it would have been worse if Labour was running it. That's the best they can come up with now. We are in a real mess. I've just this afternoon watched a discussion on the internet, a live discussion between a dozen or so distinguished international scientists from all over the world talking about our proposal to end the lockdown on Monday. Every one of them said it was absolutely crazy, it won't work, reaching herd immunity is going to cause huge numbers of new cases and deaths. And do you know, I'll just leave you with this last thought. There are probably people watching this now, if enough people watch it, or there's certainly people walking around now who will die as a result of this decision, this reckless decision, which scientists all over the world are saying is mad. Even scientists in this country are pulling back now and saying, for heaven's sake, this is crazy. And why is it happening? Because Johnson wants to keep his backbenchers in the Tory party, the extreme nutters, the crazies, he wants to keep them happy. That's why this is going ahead. That's why people are going to die, to appease those people. Anyway, that's what I'm going to say for today, but if you've watched this far, thank you very much indeed, and until next time, bye-bye.